Initially, the Russians directed a significant force towards Bakhmut. However, the city successfully repelled successive attacks. Therefore, the Russians attempted to capture Soledar, located 10 kilometers north of Bakhmut. The Russians succeeded in seizing a large part of the city.
Państwo terrorystyczne.
The terrorist state and its propagandists will try to pretend that the seizure of part of our Soledar, a city that was almost completely destroyed by the occupiers, is somehow an achievement for Russia, presenting it in such a way as to support mobilization and give hope to those who support the aggression. But the struggle continues.
Wspierają agresję, ale walka trwa.
Some of the heaviest fighting is currently taking place in eastern Ukraine. Russia's capture of Soledar would threaten to cut off the defenders of Bakhmut from supplies. Despite the difficulties, Ukrainians are constantly fighting. The enemy is suffering high losses, unsuccessfully trying to break through our defensive lines to capture Soledar. The city is strewn with the bodies of Putin's soldiers. The Russians are moving over their own dead bodies. The Russian Ministry of Defense has officially announced General Valery Gerasimov as the commander of the Combined Forces Group and appointed 3 deputies. His predecessor, General Sergei Surovikin, had only held the post since last October. Russia has mobilized 300,000 men so far. Half of them have been redeployed to the region of the continuing fighting. The rest may be used to try to break the front line in another section. According to NATO command, Russia is preparing for a long war with a possible attack from within Belarus in order to cut Ukraine off from Western supplies.
Jednym z potencjalnych kierunków tej ofensywy
It is thanks to the systemic flow of support from the West that Ukraine can take the fight to the Russian Federation, which, despite defeats on the front lines, still has significant mobilization capabilities. President Andrzej Duda concluded his visit to Lviv with a meeting of the Lublin Triangle, comprising Poland, Lithuania and Ukraine. The president also met Poles and visited Lychakiv Cemetery. Poland will transfer a company of Leopard tanks to Ukraine. Finland and Denmark have already declared their readiness to transfer German-made tanks to Ukraine.
Jeżeli takich kompanii będzie więcej,
if there are more such companies, there will be a brigade combat group or an even larger military unit, which will actually be of great military importance in the defense of Ukraine. And this is what we want to achieve, so that these weapons, to NATO standards, will be in the hands of the Ukrainian army.
znalazła się w rękach armii ukraińskiej.
In addition to the humanitarian and military support going to Ukraine, NATO is strengthening the alliance's eastern flank. More than 1,200 pieces of military equipment, including US M1 Abrams tanks and Bradley fighting vehicles, were unloaded yesterday at the Dutch port of Vlissingen. It will be transported by land to Lithuania and Poland.